Hey guys, Ron from FunctionBuilt-Aquatics. Today I'm doing a quick water change on one of my most prized aquariums, our first paludarium, the Chinese mountain stream. Now, as you well know from following our channel, I actually shoot this tank pretty often, pretty much once a month. But I never really get enough of some of the new things I get a chance to catch growing in this setup. Some of the stuff that flourishes, some of the stuff that doesn't flourish. And since the water level was pretty low, I wanted to actually show you some of the background footage, some of the different coverages that we're actually working with the Riccia growing in a lot of different places, right up against different forms of Java moss. Some of these mosses Nathan and I have collected on hikes in New Jersey and in Pennsylvania. Some of the mosses I was able to get to grow, and some have not grown. This tabletop formation that has formed from the roots of plants always seems to be a favorite spot for Riccia and some of the Java moss to actually grow. A lot of it has to do with water flow and some of the light. Anubias, pothos, and all the different terrestrial plants that we have growing inside the Chinese mountain stream paludarium have flourished, and some have actually have not done well and had to be replaced. It's very simple when I do a setup like this. I don't go crazy trying to maintain stuff that just will not flourish in the setup. I go with low light plants that will grow in probably somewhat harder water. Of all the species I maintain, this tank has a little bit more harder water in it. It's direct tap. I don't cut any of it with RO. I used to in the very beginning, but I realized it was just a waste of time and effort. And ever since I did so, the white clouds have actually shown a lot more promise, color, spawning, and so on. And the gobies have also reflected the usage of straight tap, which I think my pH is about 6.5 to 6.8. Not really high, but a nice neutral range as compared to my wild betta setups. We have Anubias growing in different locations, Ripens growing in different locations, ram's horn snails, Japanese trapdoor snails. You can actually see one of them right there. These are all part of the ecosystem in this setup. Now, I was able to take some plants that were just getting munched down by the giant gourami in the mixed species setup, and I'm going to place them in here. And what I'm actually thinking about doing is removing this Zoom Ed light and replacing it with one of the single Kessels. I have two Kessel lights on the 40 mixed species setup, and they are the Amazon Sun, which is the standard freshwater LED light that Kessel actually makes, and I'm expecting that light to really do well with these plants. Give me the shimmer I have on the bottom of the substrate like I do in the South American paludarium, of which that tank you can't even see the substrate because the chain sword has actually grown so well on it. But this tank is 3 years old, and you just cannot beat maturity in a setup. Yes, I do big water changes. As you could tell, I literally have just dropped 3/4 of the depth, and I do keep my hands in this tank an awful lot, but to be honest with you, not as much as I do in my wild betta setups. This tank for the most part is sort of just maintenance. I don't really add anything new to it. I don't go crazy spending a lot of time trying to fix things. You know, I had made a speech a while back about how nature isn't perfect, and once again I'm going to basically clarify what I meant by that. Nature is not perfect in the manner that it says, hey, I'm going to design a perfect aquascape with rock and plants. Nature doesn't do that. We do that as hobbyists. We try to build these perfect, balanced systems when nature just gives plants, animals, invertebrates, vertebrates what they need to survive and flourish, and it's up to them to basically, in my opinion, evolve to survive in that environment. I have some proof of that actually in this tank. The Rickia that you see on the right hand corner of this video, right there on that sort of platform formation, grew by accident. I did not plant it there. That section gets quite a bit of flow from the Eheim aqua ball that is there to move the water. But the Rickia decided that that was the location it wanted to grow and survive. And as you could tell, I actually cut it back once every 6 months or so. It comes back full circle. The Java moss in this location gets constant water flow. Not a whole lot of direct light, which Java moss does not really require. But the Java moss in this particular section found a spot where it could flourish, and it flourished. Does it look cool? Yes, it looks pretty cool. But in reality, I didn't do anything to actually let that happen. I just planted some moss, and moss pieces floated away and attached to roots of the actual plants themselves, and decided it on its own that it was the location for it to grow. The same with the Anubias and the different plants. Now the ripens, I did put the ripens down there, but as you can tell, ever since I started using straight tap water and a lot less RO in this particular system, the ripens is really taken off. When you talk about the lighting in this tank, I'm using a 3-year-old Marineland hidden LED strip that is half blue, half daylight. Probably more suited to coral growth than it is plants. Probably closer somewhere near 10,000 Kelvin, in that range. It's definitely more than 6,500 Kelvin. And the plants in this particular setup are flourishing with what I give them. Above here, in the ZooMed fixture, they're just standard 6,500 Kelvin CFL bulbs that are going to be replaced, as I mentioned prior in the video. I'm going to actually move this fixture and put one single Kessel on here. Those bulbs are probably more suited to plant growth, but with the canopy above this tank, you don't get a whole lot of that light actually penetrating down below. So the only light that these plants are actually getting is from that single Marineland strip. So, like I mentioned before, when you allow tanks to mature and slowly evolve, your inhabitants will find a way, whether they're plants, whether they're fish, they will find a way to survive, flourish, and then sometimes, if you're lucky enough, reproduce. In this tank, the white cloud mountain minnows do reproduce regularly. Females are constantly full of eggs, as you can tell by some of the bellies on these girls. But they are highly predatory on their own eggs and fry. And I'm pretty sure that the gobies do their fair share of eating the fry too. So with that being said, this is the Chinese mountain stream getting the treatment. And I hope you enjoy what we're doing, because I gotta tell you, we pour every bit of our heart and soul in these particular setups. My son and I enjoy this hobby and this adventure together, and we hope you actually can see that in what we show you. Thank you very much for helping us support and subscribe FunctionBuilt-Aquatics. See you.
Philosopher? Yes. 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 Yes.